A DM questions whether he was being fair to some PCs who wanted to ritual cast in one of the worst places possible. Let's throw another log on the fire. This happened a couple of years ago, but after speaking to one of the players from that game, it appears they're still a little bit bitter over a specific situation, so I would like to share it and get a second opinion. We were using D&D 5th edition. The party consists of a rogue, monk, and wizard. I gave them a helper bard NPC for healing and support. The party was in the last arc of a homebrew campaign and set to work to find the big bad evil guy who is trying to bring a piece of the Shadowfell into the material plane. Previously, the party acquired the MacGuffin to foil their plans and save the day. It was a celestial artifact that heals wounds in the Veil, basically stopping the planes from leaking over into each other too much. The party gathered allies in the form of 2 squads, one led by a beloved NPC, and they were all now in the Shadowfell leak. Now, I should inform you that said artifact was also a beacon that when held up like a torch, it would shine a light towards the closest veil tear. Think Shadow of the Colossus. I hinted a lot that this was a thing, if subtle. The artifact looked like a torch with a dim light inside, that it was a guiding beacon as well as a tool and the lot. Now the party had no idea how to find the big bad evil guy, so they consulted the Celestials for help. In this homebrew, a Celestial can speak all languages, but their writing is always in their dialect and always very cryptic. I made this known way earlier in the campaign, so they etched a message into the artifact. Nobody knew Celestial. I accounted for this as the wizard had the Comprehends Languages spell prepared. Awesome! Wizard wanted to ritual cast it. Reminder, they are in a piece of the Shadowfell. Entities in that realm can sense life force and are drawn to it. At least in my campaign they do. With 2 squads of mercenaries with them, they lit up like a Christmas tree with an all-you-can-eat buffet sign above their heads. Beloved NPC hinted that maybe that's not such a good idea, having to wait around when they could be set upon at any time. Wizard brushed it off and said they'll be fine. I told the players out of character, are they sure? Reminding them that it will take 10 minutes. They said they are sure, their argument being that they didn't want to waste a slot for something so pointless. The rogue now backing up the wizard with only the monk concerned because they recognized the warning of my words. So I allowed it, and as consequence, a swarm of monsters found them and more incoming. Chase ensues, bad rolls happened, and they were in a bad place. Not wanting a TPK to happen so close to the end, but also wanting them to know consequences are real, beloved NPC and their squad held the line and sacrificed themselves so they could get away. Rogue and Wizard went mad. They thought I was being unfair, trying to railroad them into wasting resources and punishing them for not following along. I reminded them I warned them both in character and out of character, as well as asking the old, "Are you sure?" Monk tried to back me up, but they were being difficult. I called for a break so they could cool off, I as well, since I was getting upset. After calming down, we all collectively agreed to talk about it after the session and continued. They translated it and eventually figured out how to use the artifact, which was a circus performance in and of itself. They found the big bad evil guy, stopped him, and saved the world. They were in high spirits again, though the wizard still felt I cheated them with the ritual cast in a post-session discussion. I sympathize with them. The NPC was a well-loved character who proved to be a reliable ally. I would be upset at losing them too. But was I in the wrong here? Do you think I should have softened the punishment, or just let the ritual cast go off without a hitch? I say OP was not unfair at all. Losing a favorite NPC, when in reality everyone should have died, is an acceptable trade. Players need to be aware of consequences, and time management is a big one. Sure, the ritual technically takes 10 minutes in-game, but out of game it takes 5 seconds. But in-game time is the time that truly matters. Hopefully one day the players will come to understand why their thinking was flawed. In the comments of this story, there was another interesting story that I wanted to share. So let's throw a branch into the fire. I had run Horde of the Dragon Queen and had something similar happen. The party stealthed past the waterfall into a minor big bad evil guy's lair. They knew there was a green dragon, so they impersonated higher ranking members of a cult, released all the slaves, rearranged the guard, bamboozled a two-headed creature, can't remember the name, killed the lieutenant, set fire to their food stock, and sealed it up. They then went into the big bad evil guy's bedroom and out a secret passage where he and the dragon were. Did I mention one of the players was wearing the dragon mask that the cult was after? Because when the big bad evil guy asked for it, he told him no, because he didn't deserve it. So he invited them to stay in his bedroom for the night, and they set up a ton of traps and took a long rest. Meanwhile, did you know green dragons know where every creature is within a couple miles of their lair? They found the slaves, murdered lieutenant, destroyed resources, and after questioning everyone, knew the players were false, though he was definitely already upset about being told no. If at any point the players would have stepped out, they would have seen and heard what was going on and make a new plan. Instead, they hunkered down, and in the morning refused to leave unless the big bad evil guy himself came to walk them out. When that was refused, they sprinted, and I do mean sprinted, out into the main chamber where the big bad evil guy was going to capture them. When the guards saw their enemies running at them, they opened fire. The players barely escaped. The cleric made a 1% roll to get help from his god, and they got a deus ex machina. But they were salty for a long time because they felt cheated. I feel like the players in this are a lot worse than the first story. They told off the big bad evil guy to his face and then slept in his bedroom. They felt cheated? I'm just saying, in any other game, they definitely would have died. Unfortunately, luck was very much on their side. Some people just don't know how close they are from complete annihilation. What do you all think about these stories overall?